Okay, so I'm going to use this new Doweling Jig that I got for my birthday present. And the first thing you need to do is take your two boards and mate them up how you'd like them. So once you get them to where you'd like, take your square, make sure it's square against it, take a pencil, and then scribe in between the two. So you have a mark on either side of the board, so when you go to pull them apart and you put them back together, you'll have the lines as a reference. You're going to sand those off anyways, so they'll mate up correctly. The other thing that helps you with is when you have those lines, you can flip them on edge like this. Take this piece here, this is just another type of square, and just extend those lines across here, since that's where you're going to be doweling into. So what I did is I drilled the holes in the center here. I've already done it on one piece. How I've done that is I took the measurement of this jig that's going to sit on this board here, and then I took this is the dowel that goes in it, and they're going to be in at 3/4 of an inch is how deep I want this, because this is a total of 1.5 inches. That should leave no spacing. You can do it a little deeper because you don't want a gap, obviously, between the two boards. So I drilled this one at a little over 3/4 of an inch, and then I just put a piece of tape where I need to stop over here. So now that I've got that done on this piece, I need to do the same thing on this piece. So what I've done is I have these two pieces, like I said, mated up, and they have lines on them. This one's pretty much done, so I'm going to set this one aside. So this one here, I need to do the same thing. I have these marks on the face, but I need to put them on the edge. So I'll flip it over, get my square, push it up against the board, look at my pencil mark, and scribe it across. And I'm just going to do this the whole way across the board. Makes it easier to sight down with this jig, and make sure that I am getting directly in the center there. Alright, so now that I have my marks, I can take the jig here, and I can put it over the board. I'll put it on my first one, and I just kind of sight down, because it's not rocket science here. It needs to be close. And then I crank it away. I don't get it super tight because it's in there anyhow. Then I take my clamps and I clamp this board down so it doesn't wobble. And you take your drill, put it in this guide. This is a 3/8 inch bit, and this board is 1.5 inches. It's actually like it's 1 5/8 inches, and I'm going to actually plane it down to 1 1/4 inches. But it knows how to self-adjust right in dead center of this board. It's a pretty nice jig. This is the first time I've used it, like I said. So. Okay, here's my first hole. Back it out. I'm going to knock all that out anyways when I get finished. You just, like I said, I just kind of look over it, sight down it, clamp it. Move down to the next one. Okay. And then I'll just continue the whole way down here. It gets a little messy. Okay, clamp that tight. Same thing. So I blow it out in between. It does get pretty dusty, but man, it makes it easy lining that up. Alright. Whew. Just muscled that one down there. I got one last one, just got to loosen up this clamp here. Move it back over. Tighten it back down just so it doesn't wobble. I didn't read the instructions. I probably should have. Probably a way to make sure these are exactly lined other than just sighting down the center there and making sure they're set up right. But, hey, I'm not a finished carpenter. I'm just learning how to do this stuff. So, some compressed air would definitely come in handy here. Most of them come out, but they're fairly good. There we go. So, you know, you just gotta take your time, clean them out. You just want to make sure they're good and clean because you're going to put glue in here, and obviously you want to make sure that the glue has room to expand because that dowel's pretty big already. Okay, that looks good. So I'm just sighting down it. So I'll move this jig out of the way. Move the drill out of the way here. Try and clean up my workspace a little. Don't need those two. Alright, so here's the test. Put one in. You're going to hammer this in. I'm not going to do that because it's going to be really hard to get it apart probably. So you want to make sure, obviously I scribed on the face of only one side. You don't want to, you know, if you flip them over for an example, you want to make sure obviously your lines match up on the face. And see how close I am. And they're actually perfect. So that one looks good. So I'll pull it out. Yeah, what the heck. I'll go for another one. We'll see how well. I really don't want to bang these together. Well, so that depth, I don't really, I just don't know if I'm going to get this if I bang them together, but they look actually like I need to go a little farther. There's the gap. Oops, get that drill bit out of the way. So there's the gap there. So I still have a ways to drill. So I'm just going to do it on one of these bores, not on both, to suck that gap up between them. And just make sure they're, yeah, that one's bottomed out for sure. I just want, sometimes, you know, if you have some sawdust still down in there, they won't. Nope, I still need to go a little deeper. So, like I said, first time using it, I'm learning. I'm going to use this and re-tap it. But basically they line up just fine, just eyeballing them. So, yeah, I'm going to drill one of these boards and call it done. So I'll let you know when I get done with this. Okay, so I've dry fitted it. I put some clamps on it. I really like that fitment. It's a hair off. I wouldn't even say, it's probably a 16th, not an eighth, but probably about a 16th off. Not that big of a deal really, because I need to cut down the edge of the boards anyway. I'm going to use the table saw. I'm actually going to joint this and then I'll cut it down with the table saw. But so I'm not too terribly worried. And then, like I said, I still need to plane this down to the thickness I want once it's all glued up. So I'll just take these off. And that's my first attempt. I eyeballed it. There's, like I said, I'll read the instructions. There's probably a little better way to do that. They are staggered just a little bit, but as you can tell, it comes apart just fine. And they go back in, and it's a tight fit. Time I get glue in there and clamps on that thing, that's good enough for me. So I like it. Thanks.